In addition, the creeper, referring to the bhakti creeper, has to be protected from the desires of sense enjoyment, monistic liberation, and perfection of the hatha yoga system. Now, we have desire to enjoy sound, touch, form, taste, smell using our body. These are desires for sense enjoyment. You can try to desire. You can try to enjoy your senses um, by accepting Vedic authority or by not accepting Vedic authority. When you don't accept Vedic authority, then that is demoniac, that is sinful activity. However, when you try to follow Vedic authority and you try to enjoy, then that is considered sinless, pious life. However, this will not in any way uh, be considered accepted as being favorable in Krishna consciousness. In pure devotional service, we have to ensure that we are not taken over by desires for enjoying a sinful life, or even to be overwhelmed by desires for enjoying a sinless life. Um, if we want to enhance our eating, sleeping, mating, defending, while we try to progress in Krishna consciousness, this will destroy our devotional service. Similarly, the desire for monistic liberation, the desire to merge into the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is very, very detrimental. And so it is if we desire the perfection of the Hatha Yoga system. These are various siddhis. These siddhis have been explained by Srila Prabhupada in the Nectar of Devotion. Here, Nectar of Devotion, chapter 1. The mystic perfections achieved by actually successful yogis are 8 in number. Anima Siddhi refers to the power by which one can become so small that he can enter into a stone. In one Yoga Siddhi, there is development of the power to become so light that one can float in the air or on water. A mystic yogi can enter the sun planet simply by using the rays of the sunshine. This perfection is called Laghima. Similarly, a yogi with a yogi can touch the moon with his finger. A person with mystic perfection can extend his hand and touch the moon with his finger. This siddhi is called prapti or acquisition. With this prapti siddhi, not only can the perfect mystic yogi touch the moon planet, but he can extend his hand anywhere and take whatever he likes. He may be sitting thousands of miles away from a certain place, and if he likes, he can take fruit from a garden there. This is prapti siddhi. By the yoga siddhi known as Ishita, one can create and destroy an entire planet simply at will. Another perfection is called Vashita, and by this perfection one can bring anyone under his control. This is a kind of hypnotism which is almost irresistible. Sometimes it is found that a yogi who may have attained a little perfection in this Vashita mystic power comes out among the people and speaks all sorts of nonsense, controls their minds, exploits them, takes their money, and then goes away. There is another mystic perfection which is known as Prakamya, magic. By this Prakamya power, one can achieve anything he likes. For example, one can make water enter into his eye and then again come out from within the eye. Simply by his will, he can perform such wonderful activities. The highest perfection of mystic power is called Kamavasayita. This is also magic, but whereas the Prakamya power acts to create wonderful effects within the scope of nature, Kamavasayita permits one to contradict nature, in other words, to do the impossible. Of course, one can derive great amounts of temporary happiness by achieving such yogic, materialistic perfections. So, the idea is we should, if we want to attain the perfection of pure devotional service, which is love for Krishna, then we should give up desires for the various perfections of the Hatha Yoga system. They are all detrimental on the path of devotional service. They will not help us progress in Krishna consciousness. In Krishna consciousness, the goal is very clear. It is called Krishna Prema. And Krishna Prema means we simply want to satisfy Krishna. Atmendriya Pritivan Cha Tare Boli Kam. Krishnendriya Priti Cha Dhare Prema Naam. One should desire to simply satisfy Krishna. That is the status of prema bhakti, and we desire to come to that position where we will exclusively desire to please Krishna. So any other contradictory desire will pull us down. Similarly, violence against living beings and desire for worldly gain, worldly reception, and worldly fame, the desire for worldly gain, the desire for having money, the desire for having followers, admirers, this is all unnecessary. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. My Lord, I do not hanker for wealth. I do not hanker for family and followers. I do not hanker for a beautiful woman, or I do not hanker for beautiful scholarship. Kavita, I don't want any of these things. I don't want to be a big leader. I don't want any of these things. I don't even want liberation. Mama janmani janmani ishware bhavatad bhaktirahitu ki tvai. I simply want to exclusively and uninterruptedly engage in devotional service to you. Devotional service begins with the chanting of Krishna's names. Bhakti yogo bhagavati tan nama granadivi. So that is Bhagavata Dharma. Pure devotional service must be freed from all desires for sense gratification, fruitive aspirations, and culture of monistic knowledge. Notice this. Pure devotional service. This is from Srila Rupa Goswami's direct uh, definition of uh, of devotional service, which has been provided on the basis of Lord Chaitanya's definition of pure devotional service, which Prabhupada has summarized here. Pure devotional service should be freed from all desires for sense gratification. This refers to sinful sense gratification. Fruitive aspirations refers to desires for pious sense gratification. Accepting Vedic dharma, um, sinless materialistic life, and culture of monistic knowledge. This refers to impersonal monistic knowledge. We are not talking about devotional knowledge from the Srimad Bhagavatam. That is very, very helpful and favorable for spiritual progress. This is very, very unfavorable for spiritual progress. So we should not mix up with the impersonalists, nor should we mix up with materialistic followers of Vedic culture. And of course, we should avoid persons who have desires for sinful sense gratification. One must be freed from all kinds of designations, and when one is thus converted to transcendental purity, one can then serve the Lord by purified senses. This first text. This is a summary of Rupa Goswami's definition, which directly follows from Lord Chaitanya's teaching. And this is a summary of a famous text from Narada Pancharatra, which states that we should serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead uh, without being bound by material designations. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. Bhakti or devotional service means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all the senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and one's senses are purified simply by being employed in the service of the Lord. So, this is a very, very important concept that in Krishna consciousness, as it is, as it has been presented by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and by Rupa Goswami, we have to have a very clear goal, and that goal is to satisfy Krishna. As long as there is the desire to enjoy sensually, or to become one with the Supreme, or to possess the mystic powers, there is no question of attaining the stage of pure devotional service. There are various levels of pure devotional service. There is pure devotional service in the stage of sadhana bhakti. There is pure devotional service in the stage of bhava bhakti. There is pure devotional service in the stage of prema bhakti. Pure devotional service in the stage of prema bhakti is perfect pure devotional service. Um, that is devotion, pure devotional service in perfection. And one who has attained it can be called a perfect pure devotee. Whereas one who is one who is engaged in pure devotion service uh, prior to attaining the highest perfection can be called an imperfect pure devotee. And there are impure devotees, and then there are non-devotees. So you have perfect pure devotees, you have imperfect pure devotees, you have impure devotees, and you have non devotees. In order to enter into the realm of pure devotional service, we have to agree to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction to give up a sensual life, or to give up um, the aspiration to merge into the impersonal Brahman, or to possess mystic powers, or for anything else other than to satisfy Krishna. So at least we should accept that as our goal. This is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction. Devotional service is conducted under two categories, namely primary practice and spontaneous emotion. Primary practice is sadhana, spontaneous emotion is bhava. When one can rise to the platform of spontaneous emotion, he can make further progress by spiritual attachment, feeling, love, and many higher stages of devotional life for which there are no English words. We have tried to explain the science of devotional service in our book, The Nectar of Devotion, based on the authority of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami. There are various stages of spiritual advancement. I have tried to present it here in this document. Notice that there are two different columns. Um, on this column is a list of levels that have been provided by Vishwanath Chakravarti. On this column, in purple, I have listed out Rupa Goswami's expressions corresponding to each of them. It is like constructing a house. One starts with the foundation, and then one goes on building one floor above, 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 above. The foundation is the mercy of the Vaishnava saints, Satam Kripa, the mercy of the Sat, the mercy of the Vaishnavas. And then the next step is one renders service to great souls. Then from them one gets faith and enthusiasm, and that is called Shraddha. The level prior to that is called Mahat Seva. And then from amongst those Vaishnavas, one accepts one as a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one takes shelter of his instructions, which means that one engages in service to Krishna under his guidance. Sadhu Sangha, also called Guru Pada Ashraya. And then one develops a hankering to engage in the activities of Bhakti Yoga, Bhajaneshu Smriha. Then one engages in the activities of devotion service, also called Bhajana Kriya or Bhakti. And then one's unwanted activities, desires, and attitudes are removed by Krishna's grace. This is called Anartha Abhagama or Anartha Nivritti. Then one becomes steady, Nishtha, attains a taste for devotional service, pure devotional service, Ruchi. Then one becomes attached to the personality of Godhead, Asakti. And then one attains Bhava Bhakti, spontaneous emotion, also called ecstatic love of Godhead, or Rati. Then one attains Prema, pure love of Godhead. And then there are higher stages which Vishwanath Chakravarti simply summarizes as Darshanam, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, direct perception of the Supreme Lord. And one attains the experience of the sweetness of Lord Hari, Harer Madhurya Anubhava. In the Nectar of Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami states that there are stages higher than Prema, but he doesn't describe them because he says that they're hardly manifested amongst conditioned souls, and therefore he doesn't amongst those who have been conditioned, he doesn't present it. But this has been described that there are higher stages, and there are no English equivalents. But Prabhupada has expressed uh, as a summary study the teachings of Rupa Goswami in his important book, The Nectar of Devotion. The Nectar of Devotion is a very, very important book. This book is a summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and by studying this one book, one will have a very clear understanding of what we are meant to do and what is there in store for us if we accept the pathway of pure devotional service to Krishna. Um, so, if we study this book, The Nectar of Devotion, we'll have a very clear conception of uh, how to progress in Krishna consciousness.